In our headlines on this Tuesday, January 7th, here in South Korea. The first cabinet meeting of the new year was held with acting President Choi Sang-mok touching upon the grave matters facing the nation as it seeks a path forward amid political instability and economic uncertainty. Across the border in North Korea, Kim Jong-un claims the regime's new intermediate-range ballistic missile tipped with a hypersonic warhead will serve to, quote, contain any rival in the Pacific region. Meanwhile, 7 new Korean words have been included in the Oxford English Dictionary, including hyung, maknae, dalgona, and more, in yet another indication of the tangible influence of K-culture. Acting President Choi Sang-mok presided over his first cabinet meeting of the new year, underscoring the need for stability and solidarity amid the somber political circumstances and the presence of economic headwinds. Our top office correspondent Kim Do-yeon reports.
At the first cabinet meeting of 2025 on Tuesday, Acting President and Deputy Prime Minister for Finance Choi Sang-mok emphasized a fast recovery for the nation's economy to all participants. He said all government resources need to be focused on reviving the economy as it has been hit even harder by the political situation.
Above all, speed is crucial. All ministries should immediately commence budget execution for projects essential to revitalizing the livelihood economy. Additionally, please implement measures to boost domestic demand, including consumption, construction, and tourism, as well as regional economies, with a strong sense of urgency.
He also noted the need to maintain growth in exports, which are the pillar of the nation's economy, requesting the ministries for industry and SMEs to work with businesses. Choi laid out his plans for briefings to him by each ministry. He said this year's briefings need to be different from routine ones when it comes to their urgency, solutions, and pace of execution. In other words, instead of briefing what they're going to do, the ministries need to lay out solutions to current problems. Choi also emphasized the need for government to be prepared for the new U.S. administration.
Our businesses are deeply concerned about external credibility and any shifts in trade dynamics following the inauguration of the Trump administration. Through this year's ministerial briefings, we must present practical solutions to address these pressing issues and dispel such concerns effectively.
2025 is also the 80th anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japanese colonial rule. Choi emphasized that the current crisis will also be overcome as well, while stating that all public officials need to fear the public's and history's judgment and make the right choices for the country. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
And a pre-trial hearing will take place next Monday afternoon, January 13th, at the Constitutional Court, ahead of an impeachment trial against Prime Minister Han Duck-soo. Now, his trial comes as the opposition-led parliament last month voted in favor of an impeachment motion against him after he called for bipartisan agreement on the candidates to fill the earlier vacancies at the Constitutional Court. The ruling party, for its part, has since filed an injunction against the parliamentary vote, which was passed with a simple majority as opposed to the party's argument that a two-thirds majority is needed, as Mr. Han was an acting president at the time of the vote. And South Korea has cast doubt on North Korea's claims of tangible advancements in its missile technology following a test launch earlier on Monday. Our correspondent Kim Jung-sil explains.
North Korea has claimed that Monday's missile reached speeds of Mach 12 and traveled 1,500 kilometers before hitting a target in the open sea. However, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff has questioned these claims, citing inconsistencies in the reported flight path and performance.
We believe North Korea's claims about the missile's flight distance and second apex altitude are likely exaggerated.
Colonel Lee added that North Korea is known for relying on propaganda and occasionally exaggerating its claims in official announcements. The JCS assessed that the missile flew around 1,100 kilometers without reaching a second apex. A second apex is a key characteristic often seen in hypersonic missiles. Yi added that the test appears to be in line with a hypersonic missile test conducted by the regime last April. The Ministry of Unification noted that this marks North Korea's 6th hypersonic missile test since 2021. A senior official suggested that Pyongyang's intent may be to assert its presence to the U.S. ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration in 2 weeks. The official also confirmed that Seoul is closely monitoring North Korea's Yongbyon nuclear facility following reports of possible reactivation. Earlier, state media reported that Kim Jong-un and his daughter Choi observed Monday's launch remotely, framing it as evidence of the regime's growing weapons capabilities. Kim stated that the goal is to position weapon systems that no one can counter as the core of the regime's strategic deterrence while strengthening its nuclear war deterrence. While Pyongyang insists its missile tests are defensive, Seoul has condemned them as destabilizing. Analysts say the launch signals North Korea's ability to strike U.S. territories like Guam while deliberately limiting the missile's range to manage tensions. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
U.S. Ambassador to South Korea Philip Goldberg has stepped down from his post. Addressing members of the media at the airport earlier today, prior to his departure for the U.S., he also confirmed reports that Joseph Yun, a former special envoy on North Korea and a veteran diplomat, will be taking over the role of chargé d'affaires in a few days. With regard to the brief imposition of martial law here in South Korea on the evening of December 3rd, he simply claimed South Korea is a great democracy that will continue to function through difficult times. Goldberg served as the ambassador to Seoul for the past 2.5 years and is now retiring to end 36 years of a diplomatic career in the U.S. Foreign Service. And in the U.S., the Congress certified Republican Donald Trump's victory of the 2024 presidential election in a ceremonial event presided by Vice President Kamala Harris. Our Lee Soo-jin covers the event.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
U.S. Congress on Monday local time formally certified incoming President Donald Trump's re-election in a special session presided over by none other than the outgoing Vice President and former presidential candidate Kamala Harris. The peaceful and rather uneventful certification, lasting around 30 minutes, saw both Democrats and Republicans rise in a standing ovation. It stood in stark contrast to 4 years ago when supporters of then-President Donald Trump stormed the Capitol in an effort to block the certification of the 2020 presidential election results. After the ceremony this year, Harris stressed the importance of upholding American democracy.
Well, today was obviously a very important day, and it was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power. And today, America's democracy stood.
Unlike Trump 4 years ago, Harris did not contest the results of the 2024 election and graciously accepted her defeat. Former Vice President Mike Pence wrote on X that Harris overseeing the certification of an election that she lost was particularly admirable. Pence at the certification ceremony in 2021 resisted intense pressure from Trump and his supporters to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The importance of democracy was also emphasized by President Biden in a Washington Post op-ed released the day before their certification ceremony, where he wrote that Americans should be glad to not see a repeat this year of what he called a shameful attack, and that the events of January 6, 2021 must not be forgotten. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has shared intentions to step down from his post and has suspended the parliament as his party seeks to select a new leader. Our Lee Sing-jae reports.
Following years of declining support from the public, as well as his own caucus, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced he will resign from office once his ruling Liberal Party chooses its next leader.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Trudeau has been facing heavy pressure to step down from within his party, especially as polls show that the ruling party faces a landslide loss in the next election. The Canadian leader said that it's difficult to lead the party going into the next election, given the internal battles.
As you all know, I am a fighter, and I am not someone who backs away from a fight, particularly when a fight is as important as this one is. But I have always been driven by my love for Canada, by my desire to serve Canadians, and by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And Canadians deserve a real choice in the next election. And it has become obvious to me with the internal battles that I cannot be the one to carry the Liberal standard into the next election.
In the meantime, the country's parliament will be suspended until March 24th, while a new party leader is chosen. The White House on Monday responded to the announcement with White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre calling Trudeau a friend of the United States during his years as the Canadian leader, who worked closely with the U.S. on many issues facing the two countries and the world. She said President Joe Biden appreciates Trudeau's commitment to protecting North America from geopolitical threats and his work to keep the region economically competitive. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, on the other hand, brought up the idea of Canada joining the U.S. as a 51st state and the benefits it could bring. Taken to Truth Social following Trudeau's announcement, Trump said if Canada merged with the U.S., there will be no tariffs, and it would also be safe from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Trudeau was the Liberal Party leader for 11 years and Prime Minister for 9. As well as mounting issues including Trump's tariff threats and declining public opinion polls, many pundits see his resignation as choosing to jump before he's pushed out ahead of the general election later this year. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
In other news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says his military has inflicted much damage against Russian forces in the Kursk region. In a posting on his social media platform, he highlighted 5 months since the start of Ukraine's sudden incursion into Russia's Kursk region, adding that Russia had suffered some 38,000 casualties in this area alone, with 15,000 of those victims killed. Mr. Zelenskyy also thanked those who remain committed to supporting Ukraine's cause against Russian invasion. A new set of Korean words have been included in the Oxford English Dictionary as perhaps proof of the continued clout of the country's culture beyond its national borders. Our Iuni tells us what they are.
Do any of these words sound familiar? 달고나, 형, 노래방, 막내, 찌개, 떡볶이, and 판소리. These 7 Korean words were newly added to the Oxford English Dictionary in its latest update in December, according to the dictionary's website on Tuesday. The addition of these Korean words further highlights the global rise of Hallyu, the Korean wave, which was itself one of 26 words added to the dictionary in 2021. 달고나 in particular became widely known through the hit Netflix series, Squid Game. 달고나 is a candy made from melted sugar, typically sold by street vendors in the form of a flat disc, with a simple shape such as a heart or star curved on its surface. Other additions include 형, meaning older brother, and 막내, which refers to the youngest person in a family or group. The dictionary provides an example of how the term is used to indicate the younger members of a K-pop group. Another addition is 노래방, a Korean term for a karaoke room where people sing songs in private. Also included is 찌개, a type of Korean stew made with broth and various ingredients like seafood, meat, or vegetables, with variety such as 된장찌개 and kimchi찌개. The popular Korean dish 떡볶이 was also added. 떡볶이 consists of small cylindrical rice cakes cooked in a spicy gochujang sauce, typically served as a snack or street food. Lastly, 판소리 refers to a traditional Korean narrative musical performance by a solo singer, accompanied by a drummer. Professor Ji-eun Kier, a professor at Oxford University and a Korean language consultant for the Oxford English Dictionary, explained to Yonhap News how K-pop and K-dramas have introduced many Korean words to English speakers. And words that are widely used, referenced, or discussed in English-speaking communities with evidence of their usage preserved in text are included in the dictionary. She highlighted how viewers of Squid Game learned that the term hyung, or older brother, is used to refer to someone who is not necessarily a blood relative. She also said that the number of Korean words added to the Oxford English Dictionary is expected to keep growing, with words like ajumma, meaning middle-aged woman, and bingsu, which is a shaved ice dessert, possibly to be on the list next year. Lee Eun-hee, Arirang News.
And over in Las Vegas, this year's Consumer Electronics Show will officially open doors to the public come Tuesday local time. Now, for those of you who cannot be there, we share a preview earlier offered to the press. Our correspondent Moon Hye-ryun was there.
This is the end of the beginning. Behind me are the masses of people filing out from the opening keynote speech a day before the biggest tech event of the year. And with the speech having been given by Nvidia's Jensen Huang, it's no surprise that artificial intelligence remains a central theme at this year's CES.
Generative artificial intelligence was the central technology on display during Huang's presentation as he unveiled Nvidia's newest, fastest chip. The RTX Blackwell chips in a demonstration showed real-time graphic generation of a video game in detailed high definition. But Huang went on to discuss the endless possibilities of generative AI outside of images and sounds.
We can understand amino acids, we can understand physics. We understand them, we can translate them and generate them.
On top of graphic generation, Huang introduced a new AI model to train robots and autonomous vehicles. AI is also expected to take a leap this year in providing more personalized experiences across a range of different appliances. An increasingly significant portion of the tech consumer pie now consists of the digitally native Generation Z, meaning that there is now a bigger drive for tech to be aligned with their values, which include sustainability. On the other end of the spectrum, technology centered around senior care is also booming with more personalized experiences across a range of different appliances.
Yeah, and I think it's about this idea of AI integration in the next generation of consumer hardware transforms devices like Samsung smartphones with Galaxy AI or HP laptops with their companion on board, LG TVs.
And kicking off the series of press conferences a day before CES, LG Electronics showcased its vision to achieve exactly that, under the slogan, "Less artificial, more human." Demonstrations of LG's generative AI-powered solutions such as ThinkU showed how it uses sensors to monitor user behavior and control devices around the home. It goes beyond personalization to what LG has dubbed affectionate intelligence. To create seamless AI-powered spaces, LG has partnered with international companies such as Microsoft, as well as renowned figures such as entertainer and entrepreneur will.i.am.
And this collaboration between LG and FYI can be summed up in one word, 2 syllables, abracadabra. And in Aramaic, it means I create as I speak. And it's no longer just a word, it's real.
Another South Korean tech giant, Samsung Electronics, redefined its slogan of AI for all to meet the needs of different lifestyles, such as single-person families, those with pets, and so on.
Today, I want to redefine what home means to us and introduce our roadmap for home AI. For the past 10 years, we have led innovation in the home, making your home smarter with every step forward.
The firm also addressed concerns surrounding AI and user data, claiming that its new NOC security system means that any data collected to personalize user experience can only be accessed by the user even if the server is compromised. Other than in the home, Samsung Electronics integrates AI in laptops, smartwatches, and rings, combining this year's tech trend of personalized technology coordinated across various hardware to provide an uninterrupted user experience. Moon Hye-ryun, Arirang News, Las Vegas.
Back here in Korea, South Korea saw its highest sum of foreign direct investment pledges in the year 2024. Now, data from the Trade Ministry shows the country garnered some $34 billion of FDI commitments last year, up 5.7% on year. Now, annual amounts have been on the rise since the year 2021. According to the ministry, advanced industries secured the greatest investments, with an almost 50% surge in semiconductors and an over 200% jump in the bio sector. Global investment banks are projecting a sluggish economic growth for South Korea in 2025, according to the Korea Center for International Finance. Earlier on this Tuesday, the average real GDP growth rate forecast for Korea this year by 8 global investment banks is 1.7%, down from November's 1.8%. What's more, this latest projection is lower than the Bank of Korea's 1.9%, as well as that of the Korean government, which stands at 1.8%. JP Morgan shared the lowest outlook for South Korea, citing worsening domestic consumption amid much political uncertainty as the main factor behind its gloomy projection.
This is The World Now, bringing you the latest stories from around the globe. We begin with news from the Vatican. On Monday, Pope Francis appointed an Italian nun to lead the dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. This marks the first time a woman has been appointed to head a major Vatican department. Sister Simona Brambilla was named as the new prefect of the Vatican office, succeeding Brazilian Cardinal João Braz de Aviz, who had held the position since 2011. Throughout his 11 years as Pope, Francis has emphasized the importance of women's leadership within the Vatican, appointing many women to key roles across the various departments. However, this is the first time a woman has been appointed to lead a major office of the Holy See, the internationally recognized sovereign entity that oversees the global Catholic Church. Sister Brambilla will serve as the department's prefect, while Spanish Cardinal Angel Fernandez Artimi has been named as pro-prefect. The Vatican has not yet provided details on how the two will divide their responsibilities. We go to Russia next, where more than 30 dolphins have been found dead after oil from 2 sunken Russian tankers spilled into the Black Sea. According to the Russian Delta Dolphin Rescue and Research Center, 32 dolphins died due to oil leaking from the tankers that sank 3 weeks ago. The tankers went down on December 15th in the Kursk Strait between southern Russia's Krasnodar region and Crimea during severe weather conditions. Following the spill, oil traveled approximately 250 kilometers to the coast of Sevastopol, prompting authorities in the Russian-controlled Crimean Peninsula to declare a state of emergency. The research center said that since the emergency declaration, 61 marine mammals were found dead. Analysis of the carcasses suggests that 29 died before the oil spill, while the other deaths are likely linked to the contamination. Heavy rainfall in the UK on Monday prompted the declaration of major incidents in the Midlands region. In Leicestershire, firefighters responded to hundreds of calls, rescuing 59 individuals from flood-related emergencies. In Lincolnshire, 50 children had to be rescued from a school after surrounding roads were inundated. Nearly 200 flood warnings have been issued across England and Wales. That includes a severe warning for the River Soar in Leicestershire on Monday evening, indicating a potential danger to life and that large-scale evacuations may be necessary. Media giant Walt Disney Company and U.S. streaming provider Fubo TV on Monday announced their agreement to merge their online live TV businesses. Disney revealed that the new virtual multi-channel video programming distributor company, combining Hulu Plus Live TV with Fubo TV, will serve a combined subscriber base of 6.2 million in North America. Disney plans to launch a wider variety of programming packages and offer more attractive price points following the merger. The company also aims to integrate Fubo TV's strength in sports, streaming with Disney's networks, including ESPN, to create an all-new sports-focused service. Yoon Se-young, Arirang News.
This morning, the temperature plummeted to -6 degrees Celsius in Seoul, which was about 8 degrees lower than yesterday. With the wind chill, the temperature fell as low as -10 degrees. This cold spell will get worse this week. On Thursday, the strongest cold wave of this winter will come around, with temperatures plunging to -12 degrees in the morning in Seoul. Snow has been falling mainly on the west coast of Jeollado provinces and Jeju Island. These snow clouds will gradually spread to Chungcheongnam-do province, southwestern part of Gyeonggi-do province, and western part of Gyeongsangnam-do province. Tomorrow morning, Chuncheon will start off at -12 degrees, Busan at 0 degrees. Daily highs will move up to -2 degrees in Seoul and Chuncheon. There is a possibility of the first cold wave warning of the winter in Seoul on Thursday. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. Those are the headlines at this hour here in South Korea. Coming up right after this break is our daily panel session. Do stay with us.